And we're back. I know you guys missed
fuck,
us.
we're back. God damn it, you didn't even warn me?
No, I thought this would be better. I told you we were jumping right back into it.
Yeah, you didn't tell me we were jumping right back into it.
You don't understand the concept of back-to-back?
Not really. I mean, the last time we actually, we're here, I was on my juice cleanse, so it's been quite a while.
Okay, I know you're dying to tell us about your juice cleanse.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. It sucked. It was horrible. Don't do a juice cleanse. It's ass. It makes you feel like shit, and you're hungry constantly. I almost passed out on the way home.
Jared, the diets are seriously just fads. Like, I don't know what it is. Why you thought this was a great idea?
You're a fad.
Wow. That's incredibly thin ice you're walking on right there.
You crossed the line, Jarrett. You sound like a Valley girl. You crossed the line, Jarrett. I'm not a fad.
Jarrett, we're gonna lose sponsorship because of this. All right, Jarrett, why don't we head right into the second topic we're talking about, which is
the Multiverse of Madness, finally here. So, Spider-Man.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. It's here, basically. It's the lead up to Multiverse of Madness, which is gonna be probably my most anticipated Marvel movie I've ever seen.
This particular movie has to be the most hyped movie just based on nerd credit.
Oh yeah.
Like Endgame and Infinity Wars were super hyped up just by marketing. Yeah. This is super hyped up just by the nerd credit.
So basically, I was just about to get into it. The hype around this, because we know the timeline split in Loki. We know something shitty, really big happened in WandaVision. We know that for a fact.
Right.
These two things coincide, and now we're going to see what really happened. It's all been building to this, the multiverse. It's happening.
Right.
And of course, my favorite Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 2, Dr. Octopus, it's coming back. It's literally coming back, and I'm excited. Like, I'm physically excited for this movie.
I just revisited that, and I gotta say that train fight between Doc Ock and Spider-Man, that's the best superhero movie fight scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, and Dr. Octopus as a villain he's
complex.
He's complex.
He's flawed. He's tormented. Mm-hmm. He's all of the above. Hey, Jarrett.
What?
I'm gonna do a quick test here. I'm gonna see if you have. Like, if I can make the nostalgia, like, just completely trigger. Okay, here we go. Tell me if this triggers any nostalgia at all. Just any.
Oh!
Right?
Oh, my God.
You remember those?
I remember.
Okay.
I remember.
For those of you guys who weren't born in the same century as us,
back when,
they were the same at this point. If you guys weren't born in the same millennium as us, so these are the promotional toys that Burger King was giving out with their Happy Meals for Spider-Man 3. Because
okay, this is gonna age me.
Yeah,
really bad. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I don't think you're ready for this. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, hit me with it.
I remember the promotional toys from McDonald's for the Bionicle movie.
Right. So much 90s nostalgia right there. Or early aughts nostalgia.
I rewatched that Bionicles movie. It's the best. But
which one? The first one? Mask of Light?
Mask of Light. Bionicles, in general, were just slapping. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about what's coming up.
Right.
So,
but we're also talking about what's happened, because that's what this movie is banking on. It's banking on our nostalgia. I got to find these toys again.
But honestly, is it? Okay, so for me to consider something to be nostalgic, it's not just bringing in a character like Dr. Octopus, it's actually recreating an entire franchise. Now, Spider-Man's already been going for a little while. It's not really banking on nostalgia. It's actually a new premise now.
Right.
Okay? So, I don't think it's like a remake, like if like a new Iron Giant was coming out. That would be a nostalgia bank. This is bringing in past properties because it is a multiverse.
Yeah, here's the thing. We've never seen anything like this before.
No.
We've never, like, this... They're taking properties and, like, movies that had They had endings. They have been dead and buried for
Yep.
20 years now, and they're bringing them back, and they're mixing them with an entire other franchise.
But I think more importantly, Dr. Octopus that we saw is a Sony property.
Right.
That is a actor and a style that was in a Sony property that is directly coming into a Disney Marvel movie,
right?
which is unprecedented. So my question is, does this have faith for Venom coming in?
Yes.
Instead, I think what'll be kind of cool, I think instead of like Venom killing Carnage, he's going to get rid of him by pushing him through a portal into the multiverse. Which is going to get rid of him, but it's not going to get rid of him.
So just from what's coming out of Sony recently, they said that this is going to be their Spider-Man universe. They've specifically said this is going to be their Spider-Man universe.
Mm-hmm.
There is a chance. They said there's a chance down the road for Venom and Spider-Man to be in the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they say basically it's going to be, they're going to have like Morbius, they're going to have Venomverse, they're going to have Spider-Man movies. They're going to be
Fantastic Four.
No, not Fantastic Four. They don't own Fantastic Four.
Who wants it?
Fox did, and now Disney does. Right. We'll get into that. We'll
definitely have to get into that.
So, where was I? Jeez, this multiverse.
I do have one question.
Web.
Morbius. What happened to that movie?
I think I haven't double checked on this, but I think that
it was ready to release.
Yeah,
right?
probably pandemic.
I remember it was ready to release. I saw we all saw the trailers for it. It was ready to go, and then nothing.
Well, that's what happened with tons of movies. That's why Top Gun Mavericks, what do you call it, Black Widow, etc. Hey there, Uranium Archer, who we have never met before in real life. We don't know who you are.
You know what? No, I'm gonna say it. Uranium Archer. You kind of smell like a baka. Eren Yeager.
What are you doing, Baka?
What are you doing, Luffy? You're eating more? Wow, that's a personality trait. I hurt people for fun.
If you guys can't figure out who Uranium Archer is at this point, then you haven't been watching nearly enough of this show. All right, so back to your question. They're going to have... So Morbius got pushed back because of the pandemic.
Right.
Like so many other movies. Now... So to answer your previous question, Sony is having their own cinematic universe. Remember back when having the cinematic universe was
a
thing? Yeah, and it only worked for Disney.
Okay. First of all,
yeah.
I disagree. It didn't only work for Disney because they didn't start it out as a cinematic universe.
Right.
They made a movie and then made other movies and then slightly connected it. What we saw in other movies, especially with the Dark Universe from Universal, was they tried to start everything at once, just like the DC's JLA.
Right.
They try to start everything at once. Disney didn't start a Marvel universe. They started Marvel movies that went into a universe. It starts slowly and then it builds up.
Right. So assuming that it was actually planned, they laid the groundwork. So, but you remember there was a spat where all these other studios were scrambling to try and create their own cinematic universe.
Still trying.
And what Sony was planning to do was make what Sony was planning to do was make a Spider-Verse, because what they had was the Spider-Man properties. They were going to make They were going to make a Spider-Man universe around it, but their critical and commercial failures caused them to rethink it, and they entered in negotiations with Disney.
But The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one with Andrew Garfield, was really good, and the second one was also really good, except for they shoehorned too many villains in, and they should have just stuck with one.
Yeah. So the thing was, they were only middling successes, and what they were banking on was, like Marvel, absolutely raking in the money.
Yeah, but that's fair.
So now you've got Spider-Man No Way Home, where one of the things they were going to have, it was rumored, the project was a Sinister Six movie, just a whole movie about the Sinister Six, which is a villain team.
That's what they were setting up at the.
Whose entire purpose is defeating Spider-Man, and they didn't have a Spider-Man at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they at this point it's like, okay, this is either going to set up their universe in their Sinister Six movie, or this is their Sinister Six movie.
Honestly, I hope it is their Sinister Six movie, simply because it would just be so good. I think what especially Marvel these days is doing really well is putting so much together where most of like studios and movies really fail. I mean, look at Avengers Infinity War. There's so much going on, so many characters, so much everything that if you just came into that movie, you wouldn't know what's going on. But they have set it up so much, you know what's going on. All the fans know what's going on. They're invested already.
It's like Star Wars. Like I didn't see that until I was probably like 10 years old, but I grew up knowing Luke, I am your father, who Darth Vader was, etc. It's so saturated in this culture. Yeah. So you know, why don't we do so Uranium Archer said that basically Suicide Squad. I would say so, but
Suicide Squad is
an anti-hero team, whereas Sinister Six is really just a villain team that got together because they really wanted to murder Spider-Man. Like I don't know how you can make a movie out of that.
It's just any other movie.
True.
Of course we. Though Morbius it's a Sony property, right?
Right.
But we know for a fact that Scorpion and the Vulture make appearances in it.
Right.
So it's one of those things where it's a Sony property, but they're working with Marvel on that because the Vulture is in that movie.
Right.
He's physically in it. The character Toombs is in it.
Yeah.
Again, the Vulture.
Yes.
Phenomenal villain.
Yes. Great. Oh, speaking of villains, I got a question. And Uranium Archer, I want to hear your Uranium Archer, I want to hear your input on this. Okay. Which one do you want to see more? This one or this one?
It's a no-brainer.
All right,
it's a no-brainer.
Let's hear it.
It's obviously William Dafoe.
Right.
Because, it's William it's Dafoe.
Immaculate as the Green Goblin.
Immaculate. He would have been a really good Joker too. I think that's kind of what he was that's what the Glen Gorblin.
Hey Jared, all right, here's the question for everyone on the internet. Which Glen Gorblin is your favorite? Which Glen Gorblin?
Are you Marshall, are you saying 2 as in the second one? Because you're wrong.
You want the Amazing Spider-Man Green Goblin? We gotta wait.
Yeah, we gotta wait.
Okay,
because
I'm gonna tell you, I think that on the second Green Goblin, I think the design is better.
The design and I think the character is better.
Yeah.
But I think the setup was not paid off.
They did, yeah. So I think that the design and the character is great, but they didn't execute it well at all.
I did like the fact that he was suffering from a disease that only Spider-Man could cure.
Mm-hmm.
And then, to protect himself, he said no, because it's Spider-Man. And then when he finds out it is Peter Parker, his friend that did that,
mm-hmm.
That's what sets him off. That would have been a good movie.
Yeah, so there was a guy on TikTok who I would love to give him credit, but I don't know who he is, and I didn't save his video. I'm very sorry if you're watching this, but he basically brought a point that the Amazing Spider-Man gets tons of shit, but he's like, that was the only one that of the Spider-Man movies that actually shows like the complex sides of being a hero.
Yeah,
like everything else kind of plays to the worst parts.
I also for whatever reason, I loved the version of Electro in that movie. I thought it was really cool.
You felt really bad for the guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a super fan who wanted some recognition. And that's what he really wanted from Spider-Man. He wanted recognition, from society as well. He didn't get that.
Like, people were being mean to him on his birthday. Like, it makes me so sad just thinking about it.
Yeah. And, him becoming Electro and becoming, a danger to himself and others and then pushing him to being a villain, that would be interesting. Like, if they kept Electro as, this guy that's, unintentionally hurting people and Spider-Man just comes out and, starts beating the shit out of him and then he has to defend himself, and and he gets exploded, and then Peter Parker finds out, oh my god, I just did this to an innocent dude, and then the Glen Goblin comes in.
Right. I got a question.
What?
Which of the Spider-Mens are you most excited to see possibly in this movie?
I do have one.
Okay.
I don't know if he's cast or if this is actually true, but there was some rumblings earlier in the couple of years. Donald Glover.
Yeah.
As being Spider-Man.
Yeah, he said that in his stand-up routine that there was no official moves in that direction, but there were fan rumblings that he would make a good Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Particularly a Miles Morales Spider-Man, and he is
Miles Morales.
Yeah, and he
another like double like letter like Peter Parker.
Right.
Miles Morales.
They love that stuff like Green Goblin.
Glen Goblin.
Glen Goblin. So where was I?
Donald Glover is Miles Morales.
Yeah, so he did end up making an appearance as the Prowler's character basically in the MCU, and he hasn't actually become the Prowler or has any of
he's just he's officially Miles Morales' uncle.
Yeah,
that's it.
Who is the Prowler in the comics and in the Spider-Verse movie.
It was such a good movie. Underrated.
It was highly rated.
It was highly rated, but as soon as it came out, we don't hear enough about it. It is a beautiful movie. For me, like my eyes kind of hurt because like everything is such so moving and everything. But it's a beautiful movie, and the voice acting is just phenomenal.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got as far as.
But I would be hyped to see Donald Glover in that just as a cameo. I would like that a lot. If he was Miles Morales or John Mulaney as
Spider-Ham. The games are good too. I have not gotten to play the Spider-Man games. I don't own a PS4. It's absolute bullshit.
I heard the games are hyped though.
Yeah. Wait, they're hyped?
Well, I mean that's good, right?
They're hype. Okay. I don't
know. I'm too old to be using slang. Stop slanging at me.
I don't know what these
I hear
children
it's
say
really
nowadays.
good. My favorite character from the games is Mr. Negative.
Yeah, that's very very visually interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting character too. I really like that. That would be probably one of my the villains I would like to see the most. Just to see it like realized.
Oh, is the Scorpion gonna make an appearance because his character was in Homecoming?
Yes, but he didn't have a suit though.
Not yet.
Who would give him a suit?
The Sinister Six.
Yeah, but the Sinister Six is just a bunch of dudes who already have their stuff though. Or maybe like because it's the multiverse, maybe him like the same actor is
they'll follow the comic book version exactly. So what's his J. Jonah Jameson basically funded this guy to get a suit and get like a experimental serum to take out and humiliate Spider-Man. So J. Jonah Jameson played by blanking.
How do we
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, perfect role. Born to do that role.
J.K. Simmons is gonna bankroll the Scorpion. So yeah.
You want a raise? I want pictures of Spider-Man. Doesn't anybody care what I want? I do. Shut up. Get out. Absolutely perfect casting. There is few times where casting is absolutely perfect 100%, and that's it. That was it. Right there.
So, yes, that's who I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see J.K. Simmons.
It's like an Alex Jones kind of personality.
Like, he's gonna pour on that angry so much more extra. It's gonna be great.
But he has to have it up. When he was
J. Jonah Jameson, another alliteration.
Yeah, what the fuck? He was having so much fun. You could tell, and that character is so funny and so good. When Spider-Man gives up and he's wearing the Spider-Man suit around the office.
Oh God. He was a hero. I was just too blind to see it. So, all right, we're running up on time. I think we got time for my favorite subject.
Oh,
not Jimmy's Dojo. Multiverse matchup.
You should have done a Jimmy's Dojo today for Shang-Chi, though.
That's right. I could still squeeze one in.
Yeah, do one. Do one quick.
All right, we're gonna scratch that last one. I'm gonna say so now it's time for Jimmy's Dojo. Wah-ya! So, if you guys tuned in to our very previous episode, we were talking about Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. We know that Wong is going to fight Abomination in this.
At least briefly. I hope it's not like a bit thing. Like it's fight Abomination for 10 seconds for laughs.
So, this is more of a predictive Jimmy's Dojo than an actual analytical Jimmy's Dojo, because all we really see is that Abomination throws a punch and Wong gets knocked back. So here's what I'm analyzing. First of all, Abomination is possibly the physically strongest character in the MCU right now.
We haven't seen the limits of the Hulk yet.
We haven't seen the limits of the Hulk yet, but generally speaking, Abomination's powers is that base level he is stronger than the Hulk. Now,
but he doesn't get stronger.
He doesn't get stronger as he gets angry or anything like that. Jeez. Now Wong has fought in the past an Abomination-like creature with Cull Obsidian.
Okay.
And they got really creative. They cut his hand off with a portal. Hi, Diet. Glad to have you on.
Glad to have you on. If you want to chime in, please feel free.
Please let us know which villain and or Spider-Man you are most excited to see in this new Spider-Man movie. So I'm talking about Abomination versus Wong. So I think Wong is going to have a hard time of it. He's definitely going to have to be really creative with his magic using, because we've seen magic is powerful, but someone like Cull Obsidian is able to basically physically overpower whatever they bring out.
Right, but how powerful is he when he can get his limbs chopped off though?
That's true. There might be a regeneration factor. We haven't seen that.
Or just a retcon it.
That's true. So we also know that Abomination retains his intellect. He's the character Blonsky, who was a special ops soldier, like an expert combatant. Mm-hmm. So the martial arts training from Doctor Strange's basic, his monastery, the martial arts training isn't going to hold up here because Blonsky is a fighter. So so obviously Wong has to live. He has to come back in Multiverse of Madness to rein Doctor Strange in, and so he's gonna win, but just barely. He might not even win. He might lose and then get saved at the last second.
Right, or it might be one of those things where he just gets knocked out. But all right, I have a question for you while we're in Jimmy's Dojo.
That's right. Bow to your sensei.
Bow to your sensei. You think I'm gonna get any respect? What, dressing as Peter Pan here? Forget about it.
You think I'm a failure because I go home to Starla at night? I don't think so.
Banger of a movie. All right, but you are you, okay?
Yeah.
How do you take down Abomination?
How do you take down Abomination?
So, as Blonsky, his fighting technique has to change because of his immense size. He's obviously going to be probably a lot slower, but a lot stronger. So his technique is going to be shifted up a little bit or moved around a little bit. How do you take down Abomination? How does one take down Abomination without magic or stuff?
So basically you're saying if I was in a ring with Abomination?
Yeah. I mean, Wong is in there.
How do I take down Abomination? I don't.
Okay.
He punches me and it's just my shoes left on the ground.
Your Converses aren't even laced up. I'll get out there. I'm crying. If only if I laced these up. They're the rare light ups. No, but how do you fight Abomination hand to hand? In this universe, obviously some people have a little bit more powers. Obviously, Captain America is a little bit stronger. Shang-Chi's going to be much more durable than a normal human. How does somebody take down Abomination? And because this is a ring that we see him in, he's obviously fought other people. How does somebody, what kind of martial arts goes up against somebody with that kind of weight and power?
Well, all right. Let's say it's
Let's say
it's Captain America, but like a super soldier. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's say it's super soldier, and they're using martial arts. So you'd have to use a martial art that doesn't involve pretty much any contact. If you get any contact with a blow from, even a glancing blow from Abomination, you're gonna get seriously hurt. Right. So you have to use Well, also we're assuming that Wushu actually works. People are gonna come at me on the internet, but let's just say that Wushu is an actual, it actually works.
Right.
Marvel rules. So I would say, first of all, something like Tai Chi, because it's all based around redirecting your opponent. I'd say something like Bagua Zhang, because it's all about stepping around your opponent. And I'd say probably judo.
Judo.
But
He doesn't have any clothes though.
Exactly.
Unless you pull on his pants.
Well, he's got spiny protrusions.
Oh yeah.
Also, the other thing is you have to pull Mr. Incredible. You have to get him to punch himself. So you have to use your agility. You have to use your agility to avoid him. You have to use your martial arts to like get him off balance if you can, if you're even strong enough to get him off balance. And you have to maybe like jump on his head and get him to punch himself. Like that's the only thing you can do.
That's the only thing you can do.
If you're a normal human.
So basically, you need to be like Thor, essentially.
Yeah, like to actually like defeat them in hand-to-hand combat. You have to have Thor's power set.
Okay. Well, good to know.
Yeah,
but
good to know in case
we have to exit Jimmy's dojo now. Don't fight Abomination, and now we're going into
multiverse matchup,
which is actually pretty good because this is gonna set up the multiverse.
Exactly.
Now, I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
The multiverse versus timelines, are they the same thing?
Maybe. So basically, what it looks like is the time. So there's time and then there's space.
Right.
So as you move forward and backward in time, like that doesn't change. But as like you move, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to explain it this sci-fi concept, but they haven't like every sci-fi story has their own rules, and they haven't 100% explained it in Marvel.
So time is really weird. So I'm always confused by time because I have small brain energy.
You have smooth brain.
Yeah. Time is not a real thing because we're never living in the present. We're always moving forward. So in Loki, we see the big circle, right?
Right.
The beginning and end of time, respectively. So what I think is basically happens for time is every moment that has ever happened to anybody ever is constantly happening.
Right.
Like, you know those old timey like pictures things like the horse running and they spin it around. It's kind of like that, but variance in the split in timelines is when something different happens because it happens so often and constantly.
Yeah,
that's when variance happen.
So so time in the multiverse is constantly happening all the time. Nothing. But
no.
All right,
No.
Can we get
you idiot? You stupid boy. You milk toast.
All right.
White guilt. Douchebag. I'm getting into that.
All right, can you wrap this up, Charles Dickens?
Yeah, well, it's hard. It's really difficult. So time is time and space is space. Right? So time is linear and space is liquid. It's the Palkia Dialga Giratina rule.
Is there Pokemon in the MCU?
Maybe.
Okay. I mean, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. So what I'm thinking is, the separate timelines branch out when Loki interact. Basically, Loki is the separate timelines. Mm-hmm. The multiverse is WandaVision.
Okay.
So the multiverse is the physical space where timelines is you have to go through actual time, and it's different. It's different, but it's the same. It's kind of like this. The only people that can traverse multiple timelines is like the
TVA.
The TVA and Kang,
right?
The Conqueror. Whereas multiverses can be traversed now by anybody with magic.
Yeah, because Doctor Strange goes through different dimensions.
Right, dimensions and parallel universes are the same thing because we already know from the first Doctor Strange movie that multiple dimensions already existed beforehand.
Right.
With Dormammu. So the timeline is completely separate.
So time is a horizontal movement, whereas multiverse would be a vertical movement.
So up to now, it's basically Dormammu can go vertically.
Yeah.
Now it's instead of just a line graph, it's now a 4-dimensional line graph. But it happens at the same time. The WandaVision split and the Loki split happens at the same time. It's so confusing, and I'm trying to make it it's even confusing to me.
So here's one thing that I figured out from the comics from the 70s. So Kang the Conqueror, he basically is the conqueror of a section of time. So like from one date to another date, he has conquered all of those multiverses.
Okay.
And like that's his thing. So he's like horizontally, he's sectioned off a piece of time, and then he's conquered everything vertically.
Right. Well, up to this point in the cinematic universe, it's been a one-dimensional thing. It's been a line graph. You know, time, space.
Right.
You know, time has been controlled by Kang, and space has been controlled by Dormammu. Basically, he's conquered just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's split, and now it's 4-dimensional, and now it's in. What's that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea.
Anyway, so Jimmy, so this is my new segment, Multiverse Matchup. It's a matchup. Who would win? The only rule is they cannot be from the same multiverse.
Okay.
Okay. So, or universe more.
I have a question after this. Go ahead.
All right. So this week's Multiverse Matchup. First of all, let's give the results for last time. Last time it was General Thade from the 2001 Planet of the Apes versus Predator from Predator. And Predator won by a landslide.
Yes! I told you.
I blame that on mostly character recognition. But I'm thinking about making it like one popular character and one like deep tracks character.
Okay.
Every week. But anyway, so here's my matchup for this week. So we have the two best blind martial artists in all of the Netflix shows possible universes. All right, so first off, we have Daredevil, the devil of Hell's Kitchen, Matt Murdock, great lawyer. So he is blind visually, but his other senses are enhanced. Master martial artist.
He's also durable as fuck.
Durable as fuck. He's going to wield his Billy Club nunchuck combo thing. Versus 100 Eyes from Marco Polo. Also, he's a blind martial arts Wudang monk. He is the best martial artist in that universe, hands down. And despite the fact that he's blind, much like Daredevil, though his other senses aren't necessarily enhanced, he is able to hold his own against nobody else, like everybody else.
Okay.
Highly acrobatic, highly skilled. He has knowledge of pressure points and nerve clusters, so he's taken out multiple characters just by nerves and able to like regain mobility from injuries using his nerves.
See, I would have thought you would have gone with Kurt Inway from Rogue One, because he's a kind of a mystical blind person.
I wanted to get somebody from the Marvel universe in there.
Okay.
Maybe a later date. Now 100 Eyes is going to be armed with his, as you see in this picture, his Chinese broadsword.
Okay. What armor does Daredevil have? Because he has a couple sets.
All right. You know what? Since 100 Eyes doesn't wear any armor, Daredevil is going to be wearing his his season 1. So black. The black mask.
Where is it taking place? Because that's very important.
A bamboo forest.
Bamboo forest? Fuck. They're both gonna be fucked. See, Daredevil does have extremely heightened senses to the point where he's a metahuman. Right. Essentially, he has all pseudo echolocation. Essentially.
Yeah. So 100 Eyes doesn't have superpowers per se, but he is, even though he's blind, he's able to easily take out multiple opponents at one time, depending on their skill. He has trouble against other trained. He doesn't have trouble. He's able to defeat trained martial artists on his own.
Right. So, I would say 100 Eyes, simply because he has a bladed weapon, and also Daredevil doesn't have any armor. And in the bamboo forest, that's a lot of noise going on. And I don't know if you guys have ever been in a bamboo forest. It's a lot. They sway constantly. There's leaves falling. Somebody with heightened senses like Daredevil would easily be confused because he's used to New York City and stuff, which is a different kind of loud, but it's not really. 100 Eyes has also been blind his entire life.
Well, he hasn't been blind his entire life.
Really?
No, he in a special he was blinded after he was captured by the Khan's men. He slew a bunch of them while they were trying to capture him, and so they blinded him, but he ended up going to the Khan's service.
Although, I'm gonna have to edge this out to Daredevil then, simply because of his durability. We've honestly seen him go through stuff that would kill like a normal person many times over. 100 Eyes is just a normal human being. The meta level durability that Daredevil has is phenomenal.
I would say he has high durability, yes. Is that all?
100 Eye. I haven't seen 100 Eyes in action though. I haven't seen the season, unfortunately. But a bladed weapon. I mean, Daredevil has gone up against bladed weapons masters, especially like the Black Sky in the Defenders. I mean, that's something that he can go up against and go toe to toe with and defeat as well. So he was also trained by somebody who was blind as well. So he's been blind for a majority of his life. I think he would be more used to it. So, yep, I'm going to edge that out to Daredevil.
All right. Is that all?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give this one to 100 Eyes. Having seen all of these series, 100 Eyes, I think, is just way more of a focused, skilled martial artist. His abilities as a martial artist just far outweigh Daredevil's. He's got enough agility, acrobatics, maybe not superhuman strength, but definitely highest, strength, for a martial artist in this universe. And he bladed weapon, like you say, and his knowledge of nerves and nerve clusters honestly gives him more of an edge because he can, like I said, he can heal him. He can maybe not heal himself, but get himself up and running so he can keep fighting and disable opponents. Like he disabled like a 6'5" Templar Knight with just a.
And I guess because of the lack of armor, Daredevil would be a pretty easy opponent to go up against. Damn it, I don't think we've actually seen Daredevil go up against a genuine martial arts master before. He's always been.
He went up against Iron Fist, but I mean, come on.
That's Netflix's Iron Fist. That might as well just be a Girl Scout.
It might as well. It might as well be me. That's how. Yeah. No hate against Neil Finn. He's a great actor, but I don't.
He also.
That's funny. Actually, there was an article that came out where behind the scenes one of the choreographers, trainers, something like that, basically complained that he didn't want to train. He didn't want to
He's a great actor. I think he understood his limits and he didn't want to genuinely hurt himself.
Fair.
Although there is no real, I gotta be honest with you, there's no real excuse for taking the role of Iron Fist and not wanting to do that.
Yeah, apparently this guy was Jessica Henwick who played Colleen Wing was in it to win it. She was training every day, doing great. But he was like, what do you want me to do? The actor doesn't want to train. They didn't so they didn't name him, but
that's one of the things I took issue with Iron Fist. This guy's supposed to be like the martial arts master and super fit and everything, and he just no offense to Colin Young, he was just not fit enough, unfortunately, and it kind of shows.
Yeah, I mean, again, not the body type thing, but these types of martial arts do require a high level of physicality that if you're not there, it's gonna show.
Yeah, and I mean, Iron Fist in general was the weakest of all of the Netflix shows, personally, and I think that's just because nobody really had any faith in it either. Because Luke Cage the first season was amazing. Because of Cottonmouth, and then the Purple Man and Jessica Jones in general, phenomenal. Just took my breath away, honestly. How good that was and how interesting that was. And then, of course, Daredevil. We don't even need to speak about Daredevil, how good that was.
And to bring it to the other character, Marco Polo was one of my favorite shows on television. It didn't 100% hit its stride in the first season. The second season has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's rare.
Yeah, it's rare. It was a really good show, but the thing is, it cost Netflix $43 million.
Netflix has that problem.
Not it cost $43 million to make. I mean, they took a $43 million bath as far as losses to make that show.
And the thing is with Netflix too is we get to this a lot that they streaming shows will make really expensive, really good shows and then just drop them after 1 or 2 seasons because they can't sustain that. And that's my fear with Disney Plus, because although Disney is making an ungodly amount of money, they don't see it that way. They see it what is the platform making? You know, they sink, let's say $2 million into Loki, just for instance. That's not the budget, but that's what I'm saying. They may sink $2 million into that, but they like genuinely only see like a revenue of like 100 million or a million. They're gonna cut it. And I do, just on the back of this, because we were talking about Shang-Chi earlier. I have a question for you and a ponderance for Uranium Archer and anybody watching. Shang-Chi is coming out soon. Martial arts, very heavy into martial arts and fighting and stuff. But we have a parallel that already came out. Snake Eyes came out. So Snake Eyes is a very martial arts heavy and very, martial arts focused movie. And its budget was about, at the high end, 110 million.
Not including marketing.
Not including marketing. It didn't do a ton of marketing, so it's not going to be too much larger than that. The box office right now only made about 38 million.
Oh my lord!
Yes, that is that's what we call a slaughter.
Well, that's got to be because of pandemic. Streaming.
Some movies are making a lot of money still on this.
Fair.
I won't really put it on the pandemic because, and there's not a ton of really good competition in it for the box office too. And people are still, and a lot of places are unfortunately still open for even during this. So I'm not going to really put it on COVID. But that is a huge, huge loss. So my question to you and everybody in the chat, what do you think the reception to kung fu focused movies and martial arts movies are going forward? Because Hollywood is seeing that as a horrible thing. Do you think we're going to see more Shang-Chi's? And because if Shang-Chi is a actual success, we're going to see more like that. So do you think all kung fu movies and martial art movies are kind of like hanging on it?
I don't think that all kung fu and martial arts movies are hanging on it, because that's like that style of fighting in movies has been the trend for a while now. I do think that they are hedging their bets when it comes to Shang-Chi because of how little marketing and hype they did for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they released trailers and stuff, but compared to freaking Endgame and shit, they didn't hype this at all.
Well, Endgame is also the culmination of years in the making. Dozens of movies, tons of extra stuff. The marketing was on that because they were such a high investment.
Right. That's true.
And also, I think Endgame was the weaker of the two movies, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think that the kung fu martial arts movies are going anywhere anytime soon. Mm-hmm. Especially considering that CG is so good across the board that people don't care about it anymore. What really gets people is that sort of human, physical looking action.
Right.
That the back to basics, just having a person doing a fight scene, I think is much more pleasing to people's eyes at this point.
Okay.
So, all right. So wrap it up. Multiverse matchup: Netflix Daredevil versus 100 Eyes from Netflix's Marco Polo. Two blind martial arts masters. Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, we'll put up a vote later in the week, and we'll see and we'll tell you what that result is, and I'm gonna be right.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
At the end, we agreed. So
okay, fine, whatever. So all right, and also and to wrap this up, we started this episode talking about Spider-Man: No Way Home. Mm-hmm. I'm super hyped and also nostalgic for it. I'm more hyped than I've ever been for a superhero movie in recent memory, in fact. So, can't wait to see it. Let us know what you guys think. Who's your favorite Spider-Man? Who's your favorite, cinematic Spider-Man villain?
Yeah, and tell us what you think is going to be happening going forward with the multiverse and the multiple timelines. Do you think this is a good thing, or do you think this is an issue going forward?
Yeah, we really want to hear about it. We're going to be streaming. We're going to be streaming next week, but stay tuned. We're going to have lots of stuff going on this week on our social media. Please tune in. Until next time, this has been Jimmy.
This has been Jarrett.
All right, I'm going to